Hello, welcome for a somewhat offbeat but hopefully entertaining episode. The episode between the episodes, and this is our Darkeport roundtable.
Yeah.
Hello,
first one.
Far away friends. First, but certainly not the last. To that point, I think holding these periodically, in between season breaks will be a good thing. And tonight, since our faraway friends and my troop mates have heard me yammer plenty, I'm more interested. We're going to pass the baton over to
your girl,
Miss Tatiana.
Your girl.
And Miss Tatiana is going to host us, be the hostess for this evening.
Yay.
For the roundtable. I've got a few questions I want to ask at the end, but and then we'll probably open it up at the very end. We'll try to keep it down to round hour and a half or so. We'll check in and see, or sooner if we're out of steam. But with this group, I doubt that.
We don't talk at all.
No, there's no talking. And tonight, two things I want to acknowledge. One of them is that. No, not yet.
Not yet?
Because we're going to retire. No, well, I'll start with number 2. Tonight we're retiring this Candle of Tales.
Candle of Tales.
This is the last one. So this Candle of Tales has seen us through the first story arc, The Gathering.
So good.
It's been very good for us. I love this. I love the smell on it. It's kind of a unique one. So we're going to have one last go with the Candle of Tales, and then I feel like, because we're going to be at this a while, y'all, I feel like we should have a little museum of...
We should have historical
a little historical candles.
The timeline.
Yeah, put the timeline of...
2023.
Oh, can we do that? Can we write when we retired each one?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Let's do that. Let's do that starting tonight.
Oh, my God.
And my ADHD brain already forgot the first point, so that's fine. That one's more important anyway. And with that, do you want to go ahead and light it then? I guess.
Wait, are we doing a goodbye serenade to it?
Yes, we are.
Ooh.
Serenade it.
Okay.
Candle of Tales.
Yay, that was gorgeous.
Nice.
Look at that. Oh, it's
We
smooth.
did it.
We did do
Tatiana,
it. It's mad.
the floor is thine.
Thine. Yay. So excited to be here with all of you and just chat a little bit more off the cuff about our characters, about our time playing together. And just, we're humans here. We all have other lives, other embodiments that aren't environmental.
Donnie doesn't. No, I'm just kidding.
No, Donnie is Darkeport.
We're trying to set this
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
He has a cot behind,
With the baby in it.
Yeah, with the baby. Yeah.
You're bringing me to D&D? Yeah.
So yeah, I'm seeing this as an opportunity for everyone to get to know all of us a little bit more and each other more.
For sure.
I curated some questions that I genuinely wanted to ask, and there'll be space for all of us to ask each other as well.
And I think everyone declined hearing the questions ahead of time, right?
Cool.
Mr.
I got
Preparation.
Okay.
I gave Corey a little.
Okay, no, that's
Wow.
well. You probably got some heavy questions for.
Well, hey. So we'll start over here. We're gonna start.
What is your favorite color? Yeah.
I'm gonna start with you, Allie.
Ooh.
Yeah. Ooh. Plot twist, huh?
Plot twist.
So some might say rage used well is a superpower, similar to Nilishli. And how do you channel rage in your life?
Okay.
That's okay. We're just getting right into okay.
I gotta go. No, don't worry, guys. I'm tuning into all of you.
What's your favorite color? Yeah, no.
No.
I think Nilishli's been a really great teacher for me in terms of how to channel rage, and especially the episode with Oe Kappa was very interesting. I felt very frustrated, just to tie this in for a second. I felt very frustrated at certain points where I was like, I don't get the lesson. Like, I have to get this weapon, but I can't do it, and I don't know how to, like, do I do a spell? Should I kill her? Do I, like, hug her? Like, what is the magic key that's going to open this? And when it was finally, like, he kind of guided me into it, but it was, like, kind of understanding that I needed to, like, bring the simmer down to, like, a very low heat. And I was thinking about, like, the nature of rage and anger, and how it can be very alchemizing, and righteous anger is very beneficial, right? But like when it's chronic, that's when it becomes poison in our body. And so for me, the way I like to channel rage in my life is, especially, like, this might be TMI, but if I'm PMSing, sorry guys, I have a lot of rage. Yes, we know. So for me, I think the best way to channel that is I do quite erratic things. Like, I will dance really hard, sometimes for 10 minutes in my kitchen, but like punch the air at the same time. Sometimes I scream into my pillow, like always acknowledging that rage is safest and healthiest when it's not directed at another person, but if it can be directed preferably at an inanimate object. But I really enjoy moving and screaming and like howling at the moon kind of witchy shit to get rage out of my body, which I traditionally had in anger. Like, I had anger issues, and I was a goalkeeper in soccer, and they're a little bit kooky, and so I would have to, you'd have to like fight. And so now I definitely think for me, it's the first most important thing to channeling rage is speaking your truth in the moment so it doesn't have a chance to become rage. As long as you're being honest and truthful, and you're like, I'm not actually cool with what you just said, or you just crossed a boundary with me. And then later, if there's like some uncontrollable rage going on, go home, go to your bedroom, punch your pillow, scream into it, and listen to an Alanis Morissette album. But like,
That's the one.
right? Jagged Little Pill. That's where we go. So that's how I channel rage.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the
Life
tips.
lessons here.
Yeah.
I love that. Hell yeah.
Kevin Bacon of Footloose. Going to just finding an abandoned warehouse. Get out.
True.
I love that.
I'm gonna do a little note here for myself that what Allie just said kind of opens the door for what I was trying to do as a storyteller with all of those vignettes that we did, where we did the character focused vignettes at the back end of the sessions. And so, but yeah, more on that later as we get further down.
Lovely.
But thank you. That's a beautiful way of putting that.
Yeah, very nice.
Alchemizing, I think was the term you used. Yeah, that's perfect.
And I think it's cool to hear too about your journey as a soccer player. I forget that about you. And I was friends with mostly soccer girls growing up, and I know how intense it can get.
Yeah. Yeah. With our big old muscly legs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big old muscly legs.
Yeah, and competitive spirit.
Yeah. We are.
Love it. So Donnie.
Oh no.
Haha.
Follow that.
No, come on. No. So you play a lord.
Yes.
And
Very well.
I'm curious for you what you think, in your own opinion, what it takes to embody a lord, and what does it mean to really be a lord?
Well, the nice thing about starting off as Titus, especially when Angel was kind of giving me the deposition of him, is like he's still a child. So he's still guessing off of what he's seen and how to act based off of what his own personality is. And seeing how he doesn't want to act just as much as he wants to see how he wants to act. So it's nice to have those kind of situations where I was too cruel and then 100% didn't get the information that I needed. But his emotions are always going to get the better of him because he is young. But it's nice to kind of have that and then have a solution for him to then make the right call and make the right decision. So yeah, it's been kind of cool to play a lord like that. And it is frustrating when it is like I can be the only person to speak within this scenario because it is a lord to a lord and kind of how the world's built. So that's kind of frustrating, but it's also nice to be the lord of the people rather than like stoically shutting down everything else like you'd see with Titus Invictus. Yeah.
Would you say that's like a rare thing you've seen in D&D, like a lord of the people, or?
Anyone who's not the main character of the story usually is not a lord of the people. They're usually kind of like a dickhead and all that. I've never played a character like this. Every character I've ever played is a silly, ridiculous person. So it's kind of nice.
Comedy.
It's nice to be the silly, kind of silly and also serious and also stoic but funny, you know? So it is nice to kind of have that charisma-based character that also has to lead as opposed to Wishing and Willie, the Prospecting Wizard, or Mycroft Luckenbuckle of the Honeywell Luckenbuckles, who are just pure comic relief. You know, like so. It's kind of cool to have that, and it's definitely a challenge, but I love it.
Well, you definitely bring the gravitas to it, Donnie.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, you beautifully portray that character.
Oh, thanks.
I didn't know that you like mainly played comedic characters. So like, how is that for you to do something not really like that?
It's a lot of work. I like it. I listen to our soundtrack all the time. I write speeches. I 100%, probably 5,000 words up till now since February when I hopped on. It's just kind of hard to challenge that because my immediate thing was to go to the comic kind of response. So, it's a challenge, but I love it. It's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great question.
I like questions. Anika.
I'm terrified.
I tuned into all of you. Don't you worry.
God. She like crept on us on Instagram.
No.
tuner.
I just
Your
felt
past.
into you. No, so
It's like a dark city.
for Katrin, she's kind of historically a loner, but like in this game, she's not really alone, like as much as maybe she's used to. And I'm curious, like how you feel that is for her. And
I think it's she's changed so much. I mean, even in the 12 like sessions that we had and before when we did all the pre-gaming stuff, it's like she kind of blossomed in the past like couple of sessions and like the hand holding and the hugs and the crying and all that stuff. It's like the emotional pull for her is more intense. And like I love that about her, and she's still kind of a loner, but she's changed so much. So it's like she's embraced it, and I think she just like has kind of accepted it because the person that I would say that she kind of loves the most is Figulous, and now that he's officially gone, it's like she kind of has to open up. So kind of forced, but yeah. My little Katrin baby. She's all grown up.
she is.
I can't. I love it.
If you had any advice for her as yourself, what might you tell her?
Love more. Yeah. I think love more. Just open up. Yeah. That's it.
Thank you.
Love baby. Yeah.
Who's next? Just kidding.
Savor the power.
I know it's fun. Corey. So Merrick is both a Kithki and a warrior. And the Kithki culture is very intimate and tender and sweet. And he's also this like quite strong warrior. And I'm curious how you feel he balances those things. And
I haven't had a ton to explore the softer side, but Kithki from the Shires, where we originally are derived from, are all more traditional, happy-go-lucky, not so militaristic. But when Granny Touchgem, as you saw in the last session, took the journey, and the Touchgems went with them, we became more of a militaristic sort of Kithki, and out of necessity to defend the Dream and to honestly the Utini at the time and the Bloody Shores. So Merrick, a couple things here. So pre Merrick getting captured, different Merrick, military, but had a lot of emotional components. After he got captured, first I had to study and understand a little bit about PTSD and what prisoner of war is and kind of those and torture and kind of what that would mentally do to a person. And thank Angel and other people for assisting and understanding some of that. But when you go through a trauma like that, and there's other types of trauma in the world, you become isolated. And yes, I had Jasmine to literally be my anchor and to pull me back and keep me from going in different directions. She was the person, is the person, and the culture too, and the Dream is the fanatical third aspect to that. So I have to balance, and he's changing as well, revenge, the warrior spirit, defending Geramentum, what does all that mean, with my personal trauma, with the still very loving Kithki culture, and how, I mean, I'm in a room with Jasmine, isolated. Normally we're packed as, you know, little kittens in like 10, 20 aspects. And so it's interesting. I'm even so there's the military Kithki from the normal Kithki, and then Merrick's even further removed. And that's why he enjoys nature. He's trying to stay connected there. And it's hard to do the balance. And he believes in the Great Mother a lot, and that was a little shaken and challenged during his vignette. Mm-hmm. And still is in terms of how he's navigating this versus this other thing that's going on.
I would say Merrick's pretty devout. Like, his faith is really important to him. You know,
super important.
I mean, all Kithki, you know, almost all Kithki feel some kind of connection, but I think for his character, you know, they're still individuals, so there's still going to be a spectrum. So I really feel that when you're playing that character.
And the grannies are like, they're my everything. And I'm afraid of what might be happening to some grannies soon. But nonetheless, they are equivalent to my messiahs, to our Marcuses of the world. And they're very dear, and they're old and ancient and wise, and they're like your great-grandmother that every person wants to be able to meet and live and talk to, if you have the privilege. And then there's the defending, that all these aspects, the way of life, the dream, and that's where his military aspect. So I have to balance that with my wisdom and trying to keep the young 18-year-old lord out of too much stupidity trouble, as much as I can. But it's interesting because I'm in a weird position too.
No, that's not gonna happen.
It's hard to be stoned with a bunch of kittens around. Yeah, it's true.
It is. So that's the balance between the lover and the warrior side, and you've seen a lot more of the warrior side. You saw a little bit with the slave stuff about his idea of forgiveness, and I think more of that story will be unfolding as his mindset is finally the canon of him being so angry and revengeful has finally opened up to allow forgiveness and taking that wisdom he has, a good wisdom, to understand that a lot of times people are essentially, this is happening in today's world even, they're are the product of their surroundings. And if all they know is slavery and this is what you do and this is your job, then they just do it. They don't understand necessarily a bad way or good way, right from wrong, because they don't have any other perspective. And so, to kind of summarize this up here, there is this opening up happening with Merrick, in the sense of, okay, all these people may not be that bad of actual people. They just happen to be in bad circumstances, or they grew up under a different culture or a different way, and they don't know any other way. So let's see if we can convince them, especially to support the dream.
Yeah, and his rehabilitation is everyone around him also rehabilitating themselves.
Exactly. That's part of his healing process.
I love that.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and it sounds like what I heard was that his care is where a lot of his tenderness is right now. Like, his care for the grannies, the care for the town, like Germentum, and watching after Titus. Like, even though there may be some, like, protectiveness there, that there's also, like, a lot of, like, love and softness.
There is. I apologize to your loved one for being angry. To me, he's everything to the dream, so I went and just literally charged into the assassin, knowing that I needed to save this guy, because my life is not anything compared to the more important. Well, that's how he views it, at least. A little bit of martyr in that aspect, but he's not fanatical, like I'm gonna die just to die. So
Devotional.
he's very devoted.
Yeah.
To the cause. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Thank you. Randy. Ooh. Hey, Randy.
Hey.
So, Marcus traveled from Pullix up to Germentum, was transplanted up there, and you also recently just had a big move from California over here to Texas, and I'm curious how playing this character helped through that transition, or what helped you make that leap in your own life?
Well,
That's a good one.
It's just an obvious comparison.
So, initially, I lived in Texas for about 3 years prior to moving back to California. There was a bunch of reasons, but ultimately I stayed 17 years too long, and I started feeling that I was like just not moving forward in life. You know, it's just like the weather was great, the people were all the same, it was really expensive as heck, but it was just subsiding. And then I got a call from Angel and from Corey talking about the game that was coming up, and it took me about 5 minutes or so to figure out that I was ready to leave. What helped me at first was that knowing that I had a place to go, knowing that I had people that would support me, knowing that I had friends that were ready for me to be there, was the first thing that I needed to actually start making that decision to move. And up until that point, I'd always talked about moving, right? I'd always been like, I really want to move back, but things happen, life happens, and I was just like, it sort of fell to the wayside. Having Marcus here and everything else that was included in that, and the people that I met since that point, sort of galvanized me into making those first initial steps. And once that first step was made, the next was easier, and the next was easier, and the next was just easier, until I was literally running through everything that I needed to do. Then once I got out here, having the group overall, not knowing anyone really other than Angel, and I knew Corey
only from online, really.
Yeah,
that was it.
From an outside perspective, I knew of you. I've talked to you maybe once, I think, but it was having him here help me settle in those roots that allowed me to actually get to know Donnie, get to know Allie, get to know you and everybody else. And then once that happened, it felt just right, It felt good, and it felt like I actually was moving forward in life for the first time. So it's like starting to take care of my health, starting to make friends that I needed to make. Like, it's been an incredible experience for me, really. Like, I don't usually like to say this term, but it really has been life-changing for me, and I'm grateful to everyone for it. So
I'm grateful for you, man.
Yeah, I'm really grateful you came out. I came out here and, on a wing and a prayer, so to speak. I think I want to acknowledge here that Randy, you loved me when I was at my ugliest. I mean, when I was beaten down by, some pretty bad PTSD, like fresh from Iraq, before and after, but especially after, those last on the back end of my enlistment, like those last 5 months were hard. And and all the crap that was fun fact, I'm divorced, it's like been divorced, and the unfortunate person that I had stupidly, thrown my lot in with at that point just really showed herself while I was out of country. And I came back to a horrible mess, including her felon brother who had escaped, dealing methamphetamines in Texas, and it ran to California. Like, that was what I was treated to when I came back, among other things. I won't go through the whole thing, but it was a hot mess. And you were there for me through all of that. Before that, after that, you've always been there for me. You're one of these people who's just bone loyal. Yeah. And that's, and like I said, you loved me when it was the worst. And so there's no way that I would not. I've told Corey this many times when we were planning. He's the CEO of the company, and so and when we were planning all of this, it was like, I know not only are you a fantastic role player, anybody who watches this, like, you can embody that character, you come across exactly as that character. You also have talk more about this later, about the story threads, but your understanding of a 3-act structure, like your instinctual understanding of it's remarkable to me. But by far the most important part is the fact that I know that you were just rock solid and you had my back no matter what. And there's no way that I wanted to try to do this project.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I mean, I will always have your back no matter what. Day we die, it'll be there. And it's like, loyalty, just friendship, all that stuff. You were at my worst, you accepted me and helped me move it past a place that I just had no idea.
Horrible shit that happened there too,
And that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about here. Like, it's like the friendships that I've made all over the place. It's just, they've really helped me move forward. You know, it's like I feel better now than I have ever in my life, and it's been because of this game and the people that I'm playing with. You know, and I'm just going to keep moving forward. You know, keep doing that live. So thank you for everybody. Thank you all.
Thank you, Randy.
Yeah.
It's cool to hear too how I mean you didn't say this directly, but I mean I feel like Marcus needed to feel that camaraderie to be able to move on with his family.
You know, it was weird. Like, I have never played a character like this before. I played clerics before in the past, and I played D&D for a long time. But, you know, it's like the idea of home and family and hearth, it has, I guess, you know, age gives you a perspective of things that you just didn't realize.
It hits different now, doesn't it?
Yeah, and now it feels so much more real when the fact that I love Alba and my children and that I can talk to them about them and that I can see Titus growing up and Merrick struggling through his things, and I have a deeper perspective now at my age than I did when I was 20 trying to do these same kind of characters. And it's really translated quite well, and I'm appreciative of the age now, you know. Sometimes I'm like, but now I'm just like, oh, thank you all those years for giving me wisdom that I just never would have had otherwise. You know, and that's really helped when I've tried to embody like Marcus and how he'd react to certain things. It's kind of pivotal, actually. Like, and then of course conversations later and stuff like that with just about all of you, really. You know, stuff like that. I don't know. It's been fun. It's been fun as heck.
Well, thank you.
And we're just starting.
Yeah, right. Only for a season. Let's
Starting the ride. Yeah. Yep.
Love it. Yeah. So Donnie.
No. I gotta follow the good ones.
Come on. No, so you kind of showed it a little bit earlier in your earlier question that you've been doing voice acting for some time, and I'm curious about like what pulled you to that, what you love about it, what you like about it, and like if anyone out there was curious about it, what you might say to them.
Just have a key phrase and talk to yourself in the car. I worked in a print shop for a long time. And just kind of was alone in that. I had two older brothers growing up. They'd have the PlayStation and I was, all right, I guess I'll entertain myself. And that's kind of how it started. So, yeah, just like your voice is an instrument, just like any of those. Like, I always do my comparison now is from Whistling Willie all the way to Michael Rooker from Guardians of the Galaxy. He was like, hey, now, don't worry about that. You know, and then it's like, go down a little bit more. Then you got Richard Harris from Marcus Aurelius and Gladiator. He's like, Rome is a dream. You know, and then a little bit more, you have Abraham Lincoln with Daniel Day-Lewis, who's like, don't worry about it, it's fine. And then Whistling Willie. It's just all those silly accents, all those silly voices. I got my minor in linguistics and just kind of kept going with those, and it's always fascinated me. It's like, dude, you grew up 20 minutes away and that person talks completely different than you. So yeah, just always liked those, and I was always fascinated by them. They're really cool, really fun.
Here's a fun fact too: is that I was struggling with my accent for Marcus until Donnie showed me some things and like.
Don't worry about that, don't you?
Right.
It's fine, right?
But he exposed me through his own like interests and stuff like that. He exposed me to what I needed to do to actually finally figure out how I'm going to talk to Marcus. And I was struggling with that. 6 months of struggling, like trying to talk in the car to myself and feeling dumb about it the entire way through. But
you look like a psychopath, but I'm okay with that. You know? I've been white knuckling on my way to work, being like, "Don't worry, then. It's gonna be fine."
Looking over here going,
Where are you looking at? Yeah, it's just like, he's that crazy Scotsman yelling at people. Yeah.
It's cool. Like, he has this way about it. So I don't know. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of know, like, Donnie's the most talented. Donnie's the most talented person at this table.
Yeah.
No,
like,
no.
Like, it's not even this.
It's recorded.
Shut up, guys. Don't take compliments well. God damn it. No, I love silly voices. I like being silly. It's really fun. I used to prank phone call my uncle as my stepdad, and then when my uncle would call, I would answer as my stepdad and just like have a conversation as them. So I'd be like, oh, hey, what's going on? You know, and I'd be like, oh, how's it going, Bob? And just like literally to the point where they like developed a friendship. And I'd prank phone call my uncle as my stepdad, like, just back and forth, just always confusing them and stuff, you know. And they like developed a relationship from them. They're like, oh, hey, what's going on, Jim? You know, he's like, oh, hey, man, good to see you.
Oh my God.
That reminds me of the
Just so dumb.
the bad Terminator in the second Terminator movie. How they answer the phones and then and pretend to be.
Doesn't like dogs. Yeah.
Love that.
That's funny.
Yeah, prank phone calls is kind of where it all started. Yeah.
So fun.
You're always a comedian, and you're the comedian in your class all the time, from what your mom said.
Voted most likely to become a comedian in class in 2009. Yeah, you're right.
Always pranking.
Comics have the best dramatic timing. I know it's a cliche, but there's truth. There's a lot of truth to it.
Oh, yeah. Robin for sure.
Well, thank you, Donnie.
Thank you.
Yeah. Allie, I have a question for you. So as a busy mom and model and businesswoman, I'm curious for you, like, what draws you to D&D and what makes it
Why do I keep coming back?
Yeah.
Every week.
Because you're a busy girl.
Hour drive. Yeah.
Busy girl.
Yeah. I've been asking myself the same question because, you know, my schedule's getting like tighter and tighter and tighter to where I'm like, I don't even, you know, have like a time to like take a luxurious shower anymore. And I was thinking about that today and I was like, what is it that's pulling me back to D&D? Like, what's in my bones with this? And I think it's like something new was set off. Well, first, like, Nalishli's character is badass. Like, just fucking awesome.
Yeah, she's
you know?
amazing.
And, like, being able to have for a second, there's, like, 3 things I can think of. First is, like, being able to have for a second the ability to escape the mundane or the banal, which I don't think that the earth is either of those things, but sometimes it can feel that way because it can get a bit samey. Like, life can get a bit samey and you're on this like hamster wheel of like, have these dreams, must take care of these things, must clean my home, must be a good wife, be a good whatever. And then for a second, like for 3 hours every Tuesday, you got to go and escape into this fantasy world that's like, you know, really just like everything that like you ever wanted to exist on this earth exists for 3 hours in this room. Mm-hmm. And so that is like cathartic as fuck for me. Mm-hmm. And the second thing I'll say is that there is something about the specialness of developing a character that like can unlock something new in you. And probably any actor, you know, anyone who's played D&D for a long time can say that, but like when you inhabit someone, something new gets unlocked in you and you're like, oh, I kind of get it now. Like I get the rage. Like, how do we control the rage but then use it to propel us? Or I kind of get how magic works. And I'm someone who's believed in magic all around us for a long time, but to be able to like harness it in intentional ways, it starts to feel closer. I, from like a very young age, like I had a path where it was either I was going to go into like thespian, actor, you know, they used to call like drama nerds or whatever, or I was going to play soccer and I was going to be the athlete. And my dad wanted me to be the athlete and I got really, really good at soccer. But always there was this part of me that I would read Artemis Fowl alone in my room, Harry Potter, like overnight finish the book, Lord of the Rings, including the Silmarillion and the languages of Lord of the Rings, including what happens, tragic story that happens to Arwen, and really would go like deep into the lore of these worlds. And part of me, when I was in that place, I just didn't want to go talk to people. I didn't want to go socialize. I wanted to like be in that world. I would have traded anything at all to like be in Middle Earth. And like, if even to this day, if you were to, right?
Yeah, dude, no doubt.
Like,
no doubt my mind.
to this day, if you were to ask me, like, I like kind of, this is like kind of fucked up, but like when I talked to my husband about this, and I was like, if an alien came here now, and was like, you could leave right now, and you could go live in Middle Earth. But you would never see anyone again that you knew from this world. I know this is like kind of fucked up. What would you do? And like, love everything about my life, but like, tell me that wouldn't be a fucking hard choice.
It'd be great to be a horse Viking out of, you know, boom, I'm a
Rohirrim?
Exactly.
You wouldn't want to be a Rohirrim? Yeah. So, you know, like for me, like to be able to,
It's easy.
And like to come here every week and to be able to like exercise in a way, like this part of myself that felt like it was never going to be able to be exercised is like the most amazing thing that I did not predict in my early 30s as a mom. I really didn't see that plot twist for me. But when Tatiana like came to me and we were at Barton Springs one day and she was like, hey, my friend Angel's starting this D&D like homebrew. This is what it's gonna be. And I was like, yo, pitch me. Like I had 2 weeks earlier been like, I'm so down to start playing Dungeons and Dragons again. And then of course you come in with that and something about like even, you know, to get here is a mission. I have to drive through traffic, like up through Austin. It's an hour and a half. But I keep coming back because
That's Middle Earth, and you're just having to go through.
I'm having to go through the veil that separates like us from Middle Earth, and like
Middle
to
Pflugerville. Yeah.
totally to Pflugerville. But the last thing,
It's a good one.
the last thing I'll say is like. Even there was a point during this that like my interest and my passion for it came online more, and maybe we'll go into this later, but when you introduced Griff, something just came online for me, and I was like, I am so excited to come back to this game.
There's a whole so first off, thank you. I mean, I'm deeply honored that I can be, and frankly humbled that I can be part of your part of your journey that way. That means a hell of a lot to me. It means I'm doing my job, you know, to tell a story. And one of the things, I don't want to lose the momentum, but just, one of the things that I've been working on and that I'm working on during this hiatus is to try to reconstruct that process, like explain to other people how one goes about trying to lay the bones and then the sinew and then, finally the all the other tissue and blood to making a living, breathing, mythic world that works. Because this world, for me to tell this story, because the story is so deeply personal and it has echoes of my own past experiences in war and also in life, it has to feel real to me. These characters, and we were talking before stream about how each of these characters has to feel like a real person. They can't feel like a caricature or an archetype or something. I mean, they're archetypal pieces to them, but they have to feel like people. So that's amazing. And then another thing I want to talk to about GMs that I haven't necessarily seen is, I mean, I'm a romance writer, and so I've had to think about romance, and I've had to think about how it works and why it works, and what people are interested in when they approach that, and they know that that's part of the setup, that's part of what's going to be included in this. So in my own remarks, I'll get to more into that, but it's been amazing. And in acting, you talk about like receptivity and like scene partners, and you're an amazing scene partner, like the fact that you'll just, I can kind of take these shots, and everybody at the table has done this, where I'll throw something out there and you pick it up and you run with it, because you don't know as you're sitting back here, and it may look like I know what I'm doing, but there's a reason that there's a GM screen, and I mean it's just controlled chaos back here, especially because I insist on doing everything old school and analog, and that's what works for me, and you just when I throw it out and you like pick it up and just it's like God, that's like deeply satisfying, and also like really grateful for that,
I love it.
Awesome. Yeah.
Thank you, Ellie.
Thank you.
Throaty make the drink. You're awesome.
Thanks for bringing the five.
Yeah.
It's great.
To Pflugerville. Yeah.
To Pflugerville.
Yeah, to Middle Pflugerville.
Yeah.
I also really relate. I mean, I was so obsessed with Harry Potter, and I would dream of the world all the time, and like not want to wake up. Like rough but true.
Yeah.
Just wanted to go off to Hogwarts, man.
And like, not to make this a Harry Potter thing, but like just letting everyone know, like and my husband, if he's watching right now,
We love you, Sam.
I listened to Harry Potter, you guys, to go to sleep every night for the last 5 years.
Oh my God. Wow.
I know. I've listened to book 5, which is clearly the best book. Clearly. No debate.
Clearly.
I have listened to that probably well over 200 times.
Yeah.
Is Jim Dale the narrator, right?
Jim fucking Dale.
That's what I was
Jim fucking Dale. If anyone comes in with
Let's go.
like what's his name, Stephen Fry?
Oh, yeah.
Get out of here, Stephen Fry.
Garbage.
Jim Dale is the king.
Undeniable. That's
people off with that
some of my
one.
voices, some of the trainings.
Yeah.
Fry's a national treasure, but
Yeah.
So good.
I know, but like Jim Dale should be a national treasure because this
Oh, that's fair.
motherfucker, his voices are like Oh my god. The only one that's bad is Hermione, but you know, what can he do?
You got your limitations.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I can't do a 12-year-old girl either. You
Yeah,
know?
really hard.
But no, he's incredible.
I listen to that like about once a year. Yeah,
I love
it's
this.
great.
All these nerds in
All the
here.
nerds.
Lots of nerdies.
I read the books every year, so
Really?
my set time. I start on my birthday in January, and then I just read through.
Oh,
I did not know that, Anika.
Yeah. And then on my birthday, it was a tradition to watch all of the extended Lord of the Rings.
Oh my god.
And the back, and like the cutscenes and all that shit.
I feel like we need to make like a troop event of that or something.
Yeah. Extended edition party.
Oh, 100%.
That's right.
You guys got anything to do for the next 48 hours? I'm so good.
End this now.
Let's go.
You guys can watch us watch it.
It's a watch party.
Oh, I do that once a year.
Watch
too, in
us
September.
watch the Lord of the Rings.
People do that stuff.
I know, true.
It's out there.
It's reaction videos, you know?
If Morrison kicks a helmet, we all pause it and we're like, well, in unison. Did you know we actually broke his toe? Yeah.
That's not historically accurate.
I'm done.
Oh, that's so fun.
So neat.
No.
Your face every time.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. So you're a wool worker. Katrin is a wool worker. So I'm curious for you, like, what would you say is your version in your life? What is your your magic, your study? What are you really? What are you interested in?
That's a really good question. So I did design for a really long time, and then it just got kind of competitive and not very, it wasn't great for women at the time because this was probably like 15 years ago, and I dropped out of that. But I don't know. My superpower is probably just I'm really good at a lot of things, but I'm not like perfect at like one specific thing. But I love crafting. It's my go-to thing. Like,
do you
I love
craft?
it. So for Halloween, I love Halloween. Like, Halloween is my favorite favorite holiday of all time. I do love Christmas, but Halloween is just way more fun because it's spooky, witchy. Here we are. And so I love decorating the house. And so I made it was like a huge TikTok trend, but they made like the dollhouse. They'd like take it and make it spooky. So I did one of those.
Wow.
And it
You
was,
made the whole dollhouse?
and it was
so
like
fun.
super spooky. It was made out of wood. I'll show you
my
these pictures.
gosh.
It's super fun, and I love it. And it stays up in my house year round. So
Whoa.
Amazing.
yeah, we have like a really our house is very like eclectic in the way that like we love movie posters. So we have a lot of like Mondo posters. We're collectors, my husband and I. So Mondo posters, we collect literally everything, and like I love it. My house is just fun, and all of you need to come visit. But
Oh, it's on stream now.
it's on stream now.
It's too late.
Oh no!
Sorry, Jeff.
Yeah, sorry, Jeff. Too
And
bad.
they offer
All
publicly.
these weirdos showing up at your house.
Oh my god. My address. I'm just kidding. Hell no. But yeah, I love collecting. I love crafting. I'm very just like, I love doing that shit.
Cool.
So,
This is dangerous talk though, because now I know who to go to for a prop.
shit.
Yeah, me too.
Wait, you've outed yourself.
I have. Ooh. Yeah. But I love it.
Were you really good at like Michael's projects, like when you were a kid and you had to like build
Hell yes.
Really?
It was like my mom used to take me and like we'd go to Michael's or Joann's and we'd like do the little classes and like that was always my favorite.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. Me as like a super nerd like art kid. I used to eat my lunch like in the art room and that was my thing.
That was great.
Oh yeah.
I loved that.
I loved it.
Oh, both of you did that.
art.
Oh, yeah.
I did not
Oh
know
yeah.
that.
You art and then you eat.
Wow, that's so smart.
Sometimes you art while you eat.
Exactly.
And then you just like have like music playing. Like it's just cooler environment. It's not always loud.
And then you accidentally drink the paint and it's fine.
Okay.
The paint
That only happened twice.
only twice. I limited.
Gives you personality, you know?
Or makes you crazy. I don't know.
Randy.
Yes.
So Marcus has this gift that is also like sorta kinda feeling like a curse sometimes, right? Because it creates a lot of drama and stress around him and all this stuff. And I'm curious how you feel he is processing that, like this amazing God-given gift that also like sort of puts his family in danger.
Yeah, it goes back and forth. Mostly it's when my rolls suck. Like, and I'm just like, oh, it's a 3. Oh, it's a 4. Yay, me, right? But honestly, he's gone back and forth a lot. Like when he saved his sister that one time, there was a time that I actually had considered what he'd done blasphemous, because it's like you're stopping the soul from going up to her ultimate rest and bringing it and ripping it back away and then breaking it down to whatever. But then there's other times like when I was able to heal that brother and his hand came back and he was just astounded at what happening, or, you know, like if I didn't have my family with me, like my wife, my kids, my extended family, all the kids and kin that I have, it would be a lot harder for me to actually delve into this. But they ground him and they give him a purpose and they give him reason to be doing the things he does. It's like a conversation with Alba was what actually, like, you know, Quaelathon gave him this power, right? And he wouldn't have given him this power if it hadn't been for a reason and it hadn't been for a purpose. And it's helped kind of solidify his role. And then, you know, getting nearly assassinated kind of helped with that, because you don't kill the things you're not afraid of, you kill the things you are afraid of. So if, you know, if like they're coming after me that hard, obviously there's something that's going to be terrified of. So that kind of helped me as well. I would say at this point, 12 episodes in, he's accepted the fact that he can do things. He doesn't know what he can do yet, because I really wanted to keep it as organic as possible with Angel. So when we were talking about powers and stuff like that, Angel was like, hey, do you want to know what you can do? I'm like, no, I want to find out as it happens. Which is why, like, when my hands are down, I'm like, oh, I release it. Oh, crap. Holy crap. Oh, no.
Yeah, I want to note here that Randy has never seen any of the capabilities that I selected for him. And that I've tried to make that as organic as possible. He still doesn't even know how much damage he's doing on these things mechanically, because that's not where I want the emphasis, well, period, in my jamming style at all, but that's especially not where I want the emphasis with that character. There'll come a time once he's mastered them and then that's different, but, you know, or as close as you can to master that kind of thing, because it's not like woodworking. Right. It's a whole different deal.
Exactly. And I've been role-playing a long time in a wide range of games over the years, and I have never had more fun in an RP game than when I actually have to learn the world organically as I do it, you know? Like, not knowing what Leptis Regium was or what Geramentum was, only knowing that Pulix existed for me, you know? Things like that were just, these are what really makes it real and really makes it tangible and something that I can figure in. And also, I like the idea of actually building on the things I know and just keep on, like, building that foundation and building that house and building the rooms inside of it, you know? It's like, it just gives me real, like, chunky stuff that I can hold on to. Love that. So with my family, they were the ones that helped me through that first initial process. And then seeing all the other people that I've helped and that I didn't help or tried to help and what have you, has made it a lot easier for me to accept that this is a gift from God, at least my God, you know, so. Quaelathon.
Big Q.
A big Q.
Big Q. I love that. Thank you. Corey, you've also been playing for a long time, and curious what helped you take the leap from playing games to building a studio in your house and founding Darkeport.
Yeah, Corey built the studio, y'all. Didn't do the painting, but he did everything else.
A lot of effort.
Yep. So later on in life, I've my soul path in real life is an architect. I like to build things, build companies, help people build through life coaching. I've done that, and I like to see people build themselves and help. And going way back in my teenage years. I guess I'll go there. I grew up in an interesting family. One side was really rich, my other side not so much. And my grandmother disowned us and told us we weren't good enough. And this is basically my decision to say fuck you to, sorry, I should say that, to her, that I'm going to do my own success and build my own wealth and be financially independent. And that was my goal till 30. And I had a set mission, and that's what I did. Similar to actually Allie, at 21, 23, kind of during college, I took a lot of technical theater and acting classes, as well as getting a degree in economics and computer science, and I had a choice: business, IT, or my mom was I spent 17 years in theater, community theater, professional theater. A lot of my family are involved in that. And I decided, do I want to go theater and film route, or do I want to go business and IT route? And due to my grandma, in this case, my mindset, I wanted to stay the mission. I decided to go ahead and do the more financially, I guess, guaranteed way to go versus being a starving artist. And along that journey, I also learned to pay back. And so from my 30s to where I am now, I've always wanted to help enable, and I don't need to enable. I wanted to help in various ways for people to succeed. And so a lot of times I give back close friendships, people I know, for even charities otherwise. It's always, I don't like to give to a generic orifice, whatever thing that 80% of the money goes to the CEO and 20% actually goes to the cause. I hate that. So I'd rather directly give to people, and and if they can sharpen their saw and if they can take off and their life changes for the better, that makes me feel good, to be honest, but also it's something I want to do. I think there's a bigger mission I have in life, and that is to elevate everyone up. Very Star Trek-ish that way. So the reason why Darkeport came about is I've done businesses with other friends of ours, and some worked, some didn't work. I've done my own entrepreneurship. This is my 4th startup company. So I have the background and knowledge, and I came from a consulting, IT, and I wanted something different. I wanted my itch, and be careful I can't say certain things. Talking to some people in the industry, they're like, yeah, Corey, you should I feel the same way, the itch to go back and really explore the acting, explore the theater. And so I also come from the blockchain NFT world, for those who are involved in that. And I thought one of my reasons for doing this was to provide a means, an avenue, a forum for other artists to explore. And you heard all these stories tonight. That excites me beyond belief. To hear everyone is going down a journey and a path, and we all want to be geeks together. And obviously, I wanted to have, since I played D&D since I was like 8, having a gaming room where there's a table. At the time, streaming, it wasn't even in my mind at the time to do a streaming. And if people like to watch it, and we provide great content, great. If not, it's just the dream. It's the dream to have a nice, cool gaming room that you can role play on. That's one reason. The other was the enablement, like I said, of really providing a platform for other people to be amplified, whether it's Donnie and his voice acting, I didn't know this at the time, but Allie wanting to have another outlet to Middle Earth, and this is it, from real life, to other people who I've role played with in the past, and this is just another expression of it. And if things go the way they go, and this is something we do for fun, if it turns into something else, great. If not, no big deal. And it was a very passion project and business. And one of the friends I didn't have a chance to do business with was Angel. And I don't know my friends, my best friend. I've known Angel since 2008, and he's my blood brother. And we've been through a lot.
There's a lot. Yeah, some other time we can go into some of those stories. But
yeah, there's a lot of stories behind that. But
drinking episode.
But Angel actually is an amazing writer. So it frustrated me, he hasn't got his books out, and he's an amazing GM. And I'm like, God damn it. I'm gonna get a platform so that Angel can, at least people can see his level of talent in the GM side, and then maybe he'll get he will get access to have his books also be noticed. And to me, this is just the 6 of us, and this is just the beginning. I think really big. And so down the line, it gets into how we can bring other troops and groups in, and they can be amplified. And so I'm thinking about all the artists that get denied by big production studios. They want safe scripts, and so I want to provide a venue where artists that are really talented can have a way to become known, and we provide the infrastructure and the background and the production to allow them to do that, and so that they can be noticed. Mr. Beast came about by certain ways. Gary Vee came about certain ways. They kind of ran into that, but why can't there be a platform that helps create more Mr. Beasts and more Mr. V's? Why can't we teach this? Yes, you have to bring the content and talent, but like I said, I'm a builder. So everything goes back to how can I build the society to where everyone that is not the 2%, rich and everyone else is down here, how can they get access to elevate themselves, whether financially, spiritually, emotionally, all those things. And so that's my big motivation, on top of, obviously Angel, and then, Justin I've known.
Telling how a good story along the way, yeah.
Yeah, and I really wanted to see Angel be able to do this, and Justin as well, in terms of, that's his own story to tell, but he wanted to get back into more creative stuff versus IT. It's interesting how there's I get the business creative side of myself. I was a painter back in the day, and I do woodworking. I don't really get time to do it. Obviously these things I put together. It was nice to actually physically build the panels that you see behind you, and to do what needed for.
I saw you happier doing that, Corey, than I've seen you in a long time. You were really happy. You were tired, but you were really happy when you were doing it.
Oh, this was on weekends, too. Yeah, it was great. And I said, give me 2 weekends, and I'm going to get all these panels built and figuring out the table. And that was fun to do that with Austin, who created this amazing table here.
Yes.
And that was a very collaborative effort between me, him, and obviously aesthetically from Justin and Angel as well. But just figure out the spacing and everything else. It was just amazing. So I really enjoyed building out the studio, and I plan on putting together a series of videos that kind of goes from, okay, a 20 by 20 room in your home to this. Yeah. How can you do that in 6 months? Now, you don't have to do it in 6 months, but this is how you can do it, and you don't have to do it at the budget we did it at, but here's a way you can do a scale back version so that other gamers that want to build their dream gaming studio can do that, and they can do that for a lesser budget and still have high quality content. Or they can come and join us and take advantage of this as well.
Love it.
So yeah, that was the dream.
Thanks for following your passion and your itch.
That's right, my itch and passion.
Real life dream. Yeah.
And it's also a homage to my mom, and I wish she was here to still see this, because she would be all over this. And
she would have loved this. She would have loved that.
So lesbians rule.
Lesbians rule for sure. Velween asks, can Corey make an NFT for each of the characters?
He would. You would.
So
The answer is yes.
the answer is yeah. I can do it pretty easily.
Well, cool.
There's a caveat here. There is a certain group that we talked to, and I did say I did not have any.
Oh God, that's
stuff
right, you did. Yeah,
on the radar, read that, but that's.
Oh boy.
There's a lot of reasons why. I mean, NFTs and the optics. I can go on. I don't want to go on honestly here, but there's good and bad with that.
Oh my God. So there's a yes and.
The answer is yes. I can do it. Is that something that we as Darkeport want to explore? I don't think that's needed for what we're doing here and what we're telling, and for artists to make themselves known in various facets, and for people to explore and have fun in doing this sort of medium.
That's a very Velween question of you.
Just thought I had to ask.
Yeah. And we definitely have to go. Tatiana, we have a question for you.
Oh, what's your question?
I wasn't thinking about asking, but I have to. What is the level of spirituality that you have within your own life that you also master with Wesa, and how do you like to orient that to your character and also to yourself?
Yes, a good one. So I have just been ordained this July as a high priestess of my lineage, and so I've been training in the spiritual, psychic, medium arts, whatever you want to call it, for some time now, probably lifetimes in my beliefs. But so it's kind of a daily way of being is choosing to look at what is being presented to me, what are the patterns, what are the symbols, what are the things I hear again and again in my ear, how is the field talking to me. And I feel like with Wesa, she is aware of as much as she can be. That's really what she's choosing to do. She's tracking on the energy over here. She's tracking on, the weather. She's tracking on her stomach. She's tracking, and
which I love about that character. She's like has this advanced spirituality, and then it's also quite earthy.
Yes,
that's a
it's
really
true.
Interesting character. Yeah,
and even cooking. Like I grew up like not really. I grew up in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't a lot of home cooked meals. I didn't really understand that, and just like a few years ago, I started cooking, and it's been completely intuitive, which has been really fun. And I feel like Waste is the same. It's just like, I don't know, here we go. I just start doing stuff. So it's kind of like a mixture. There's like intentionality, there's ritual, there's practice, which Wesa has from her background with her mom who's a high priestess, which is interesting. But then she's also like following her intuition and following her senses, her strong sense of smell, her strong sense of her environment, and just like letting herself, like not taking things too seriously, but seriously enough that she understands like energy's real.
Yeah. And the youngest of all the players too, or characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Awesome.
Yeah, thanks for asking.
For sure. We're gonna ask you another one too.
Oh yeah, a little later.
We'll wait.
Okay.
So I
have a question for Angel.
Yes, ma'am.
So what are you most interested in when you're telling a story? Like, and I'm sure that's a question
That's a huge question. But
like, what are some of like the main elements that
do
you
have an
were
answer
really?
for it, though.
Yeah, you do.
I do have an answer for it.
I like to.
Which is
question.
in a word, theme. Theme. So one of the things that differentiates, and this is before I go off on this, let me just say that I'm not only am I, to paraphrase Sir Isaac Newton, not only do I get to stand on the shoulders of giants, I also have I've had some incredible mentors, in my life creatively, who I owe a lot to, and just some profound life lessons from my father and also the mother of my heart, who are advanced people and in their way and have lived incredible lives. So, but theme is something that I would say is relatively underdeveloped when I look at how storytellers, I'm speaking game masters now specifically, how game masters approach things. Plot, there's brilliant advice on plot. Setting, there are people, among other things, the preternaturally graceful Matt Mercer, who's kind of the titan in this space. He's busy at work. That whole crew is busy at work making this, we'll see, because I'm also a historian, so we'll see, but may wind up being like an American answer to Tolkien. We'll see the depth and the breadth of that. We're in it right now, so you can't say. But theme is something that I started with Darkeport. So for explicitly, this campaign is about sacrifice and the indomitability of the human spirit. And those are, it's just, there's obviously a lot of passion, a lot of emotion, touches on a lot of my own life experiences. And I'm thinking about how Steve Gurn is, our music director.
Love you, Steve.
Hopefully you're watching right now, but at some point you'll see this. And his ability to translate emotion into sound, into music, is singular in my experience. I've never met another person like that, and I've known some true geniuses, some creative geniuses. And that that was, that's part of the synergy, right? Because I can write these things, but then to hear them reflected back is just, I listen to the soundtrack all the time, and the rules, different songs I pull up, and I want to continue, and he wants to continue to expand, the musical language and the palette. And to be able to hear that reflected back, because I gave him the instructions of when he asked me, what do you want to do with this theme song? And I gave him that. Sacrifice and the indomitability of the human spirit. It was two of those. And that's how I approach. As I've gotten older, when I was younger, I was more interested in the wargaming part of things, and these elite powers and how they could synergize, and like the best build on characters and stuff like that. there's, I still have an appreciation for that, but that's just not my approach now and that's certainly not my approach to this. My approach to this is a much more Riceian, like a much more Riceian approach where I'm really looking at the subjective experiences of the characters. If you read her fight scenes, they're almost always about the internal experiences of the characters and the histories of those characters, and there's very little actually described physically. And yet she is rightly, considered a master of her craft. She's a past master at world building, at characterization, at all these things. She has her flaws as a creative, we all do, but those are beyond question. And so for this one in particular, I've just really tried to emphasize the subjective experiences of the characters. And I know sometimes that can be difficult, to follow the narrative, and there are trade-offs for that. And there are cleaner approaches that I could take, and I'm always trying to retool and evolve those kinds of things as a storyteller. And the last thing I'll say on that is, there is a difference between storyteller, game master, and world builder. Those are three distinct categories. They have overlap, and they have some profound connection with each other. And you can story build your tush off, but if you're a poor storyteller in presenting it, it doesn't matter. And I'm looking at you just because I'm like, you couldn't draw someone in, you couldn't serve up a bounty for them if the food isn't prepared well, even if the menu's impeccable. And so you have to have all of those pieces. And then as a game master, you have, especially, man, and I'm going to go into this at length at a later date, but trying to find the sweet spot to have enough of my infamous 7-year plot lines and trying to have enough of the depth that it still feels like me. It still feels like, okay, this is a story that I'm trying to tell with these incredible people. And then also to pace that with just the exigencies of, this is also a show, and people want to see what happens next. And so we're not going to spend 3 hours debating a single point. I don't know, maybe we will, but maybe if it's really important to it, then sure, if it's especially if it's like a pivotal point in the campaign and that sort of thing. But being able to balance all of those things has been this, what did you call it, an out-of-body experience? There are moments where I'm over here and it's like, oh my God, do I want to lean into this? Do I want to pull on that? I have 7 minutes left before, intermission, and like this, and, and I know we all have lives, and you have to get back to a toddler, and, it's really, and even what I did just there, having to adapt it, that's again, a different topic, but having to adapt it for stream, because when you do something for 39 years and you do it in a particular way, and then started jamming a long time ago, it was real hard to retool that to where it's like, am I on mic? What is the camera angle of this? Because I'm a pretty physical jam and I'm a martial artist, and a homebrew, I'll act things out, and I'll whatever. And those are all things that I've had to try to, in encountering this medium, because this is a new medium. This medium didn't exist. This medium didn't exist when I started. This medium didn't exist when I had a decade of experience under my belt, as a GM.
Absolutely.
So this is a new thing, and I won't even get started on metrics and trying to have shorts and all of those, and the fact that y'all have enticed me out of the cave as far as you have is pretty impressive, honestly.
Your social presence has gone up by 10,000x.
No, seriously, because I'm this intensely private person and measured.
Everyone follow him on Instagram.
Oh God,
yeah.
Please.
No, I'm changing the name now. Anyway, does that? I know that was a bit of a far-ranging answer,
I loved
but
it.
does that answer it?
Yeah, you said theme. Theme was a big one.
I mean, if you had to condense it down, it's theme. I start with theme, and does this serve the theme? What themes? And in fact, that's part of, before we break, I definitely want to get one question in for y'all that is kind of theme oriented. But
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah. So these are some questions for the crew. Anyone can answer. So I'm just curious, who's everyone's favorite NPC?
Oh, that's fun.
My knee-jerk reaction is to say Alba, but
enough.
Livia is actually my favorite NPC.
Oh, why Livia?
I think it's the way that Angel plays her, the conversations that she has, the way that she feels very real to me with the pauses and the conversation back and forth between Titus or whoever she's talking to. It's just, I've really been impressed. Not that it's outside of the norm for you to have impressive characters, but Livia is by far my favorite character that I've seen so far, because it's like a nice blend of femininity, intelligence, leadership, and still while nurturing the next generation just coming on through. It's impressive to me, and I think that's my character. That's who I say.
Figulous Nance forever. 100%.
He's really good.
I love him. I think when we started, because we did the pre-sessions and it was kind of like her, Katrin's like...
Katrin was the first, Anika was the first session that I ever did, so she is the original Darkeport character, officially.
It's my baby.
Corey and I had talked about the characters first, but she was the first person that I ever actually embodied this world with.
Yeah, so knowing Figulous from the very beginning is just
kid.
as a 6-year-old kid, is great. Just his old man mentality, his grumpiness, that's who I want to be when I grow up. I love him. He's great. He just makes me happy. I'm so sad that he's gone.
Cantankerous old Katrin, and she's like, "Get off my lawn!
Get off my lawn!"
So many crafts in her house.
I love that Katrin's last words to him were, "I hope you find your peace."
Oh my
or
God!
Find your peace. That was it, because that is such a profoundly unselfish thing to tell someone when that might be the last time that you have a conversation with them. Overseas, there were people, and you never know when the last conversation is going to be. And even in the middle of all of that, which I won't get into here and now, but even in the middle of all of that, there was a part of me, and I'm proud to say this because there's a lot of parts of me that went offline, but there was a part of me that was cognizant of that, to try to not end things in a good place with people, because you didn't know when they were going to danger, if they were going to come back, or if you were going to come back. There was no guarantee of any of that.
No, it's funny, the behind the scenes story of that is I woke up at 3 a.m. one morning, and I was like, I hope you find your peace. And I wrote it down on a piece of paper.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and I wrote it down on a piece of paper. It's still next to my bed. I'll have to take a picture of it. It's so funny. But I woke up and I was like, why did I think about that? And then that's all I wanted to say that entire session. That's the only thing.
Wow.
And I was like, let's
Baby.
go.
Wow.
I was so excited.
Thank you.
I brought a box of tissues too because I thought I was gonna cry when I said it. Now they're gone, but that's totally fine.
The rest of us are crying.
Wow.
Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, he's my fave.
I have an interesting answer to this. It's actually an NPC that Angel didn't play. It's actually the current magistrate of Pullix that Donnie played.
Oh no!
Oh yeah.
You liked him the best?
He was the.
Dude, I tried to black that out of my head.
As far as impacting and
I can play a pretty terrible
emotional
guy.
and character building, it was the most impacting NPC so far.
That absolutely makes sense to me.
Yeah, Sextus Minor was not great.
I wish we could have filmed that. It was so early on in the development that we didn't. This didn't
I
exist
never
yet.
recorded.
And it
Never recorded. It's not. I mean, I don't know. Maybe.
What is your name, boy?
Yep.
That was.
Yeah, it influenced who he is today. And in addition to that, so I mean, I played a Samedi in a Vampire LARP a long time ago, and it reminded me a lot of that. But I like good role play, and I look, especially if you do method acting and embodiment, whether it's Hannibal Lecter or whatnot, to the Joker with the great Heath Ledger, and that really helps. It helped me set the mindset of who my character was, and those are the sort of scenes that are super important to me. And so that so far has been the most. I'm sure there'll be others, but that one definitely was
It's
great.
my least favorite thing to ever play, but I appreciate that.
Oh, you nailed the hell out of that.
Yeah.
Like, I pulled
There was a
Donnie in.
point I grabbed him by the neck and I was like, "What is your name?" Like, and Corey's like, "God damn it." We were really intense. Yeah, that was wild.
No, that was that was a session. That was a session where we detailed
Why'd you make us do this?
what Merrick survived. He had already been captured, and we stopped there. But then I pulled Donnie in because I wanted a different. And this is why we're going to do some Confederates or antagonist NPCs that I have embodied at the table when we're set up for 8, because there is a powerful thing in giving somebody that you trust. I mean, I trust Donnie completely. He's like enormously talented. That you give, like, here are your marching orders. Now go do the thing. And you're going to see Toby, on here playing one of those characters, and he's going to play the hell out of that character.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's already improved upon what I gave him. And I love seeing that, because it gives no matter how varied you are, and I try to read extensively and understand things from different perspectives and all that, and part of why I study history. But it's just different if you have another person's perspective on it and what they can bring to bear there to a single point.
And you're one angel. You can't blow out all the characters.
And frankly, I'm not a good enough voice actor, and that's yet another topic that another topic that I'm going to address at some point. But like, trying to do this in the age of Mercer, or in the age of another stupidly talented person, Brennan Lee Mulligan, who's just like this volcano of creativity, like trying to portray these characters and do justice to the story that's so important, and that y'all have like just given up so much time and attention and effort and poured it into. It's really important, and that's one of the things that I'm going to be sharpening the saw, as you said earlier, Corey, during this downtime, is I'm really going to try to level up on that and get a couple more voices in the repertoire, and because that's a brand new thing. I had never done anything like that before we started Darkeport. So yeah.
Any other favorite NPCs?
I think we all know who my
Griff.
shocker.
Figulous too.
Although I do love Figulous. He's a great character, but I mean, come on.
I guess my question: why? What is it that grabbed you?
About Griff?
Yeah.
What is it that didn't grab me? I think for me, I talked about this with my husband when I went home. I was like, this is therapy. I think I'm going on 14 years with my husband. And there was something about Griff that was like, whoa, like, what is this new part of me that's being activated in this way? And I think for Griff, there was just like, he's just so masculine, but like so embodied masculine. And there's no threat about a strong woman. There's no intimidation about someone.
Quite the contrary.
Right? Like, interestingly, when I first got with my husband, I asked him who his celebrity crush was, and his answer, like, won me over forever. He said Sigourney Weaver from Alien. And I was like, this is for me.
Yes.
Like, I just knew at that point, right? And so now it kind of makes sense, like, why when I play with Griff, and she's strong, and she's just like so badass, and when Griff is not intimidated by it, but also like gives it some, like, I'm kind of like, this maybe is showing me all of the things that's great about my relationship, and
I love that.
And like, because it's 14 years, you don't have that, like, after a while, you don't have that initial like polarity. You have it every day in your life, but you work together as a team.
Yep.
But when I met Griff again, I was like, there's this new person on the scene, but it kind of reminded me of how I felt when I first met my husband.
I'll just give you this one nugget, because I'm just for our faraway friends, I'm very, not only is this not scripted, I am like crazy careful about what I say. I mean, I live with Randy, and I mention virtually nothing about the game, but I'll just give you this little nugget. Because of your interactions with Griff, that whole plot line, maybe when the campaign's over, I'll tell you it was quote unquote supposed to happen, that whole plot line shifted.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
I love when that happens.
That whole plot line shifted considerably, and it's not over yet.
Well, thank God.
But it's only role play. For those LARPers out there that
but it's all a role play. So well done. well done. Because he's a force, and he had a mission, and that is not an easy thing to deflect. You know, but you did. You changed it by enough degrees over here. You know, yeah.
Wow.
Obviously, Vale's the easy go-to, but I would have to say Rutilius.
Rutilius.
Yeah, I think him being more so of the actual compassion of a father, of not having any of that, and kind of always being that staple for him and keeping his head cool. And just being like, oh, I love you, you old fool. Like that kind of shit. It's just so great. It's basically insulting back to forth, but like there's actually a true connection. And then obviously Vale is huge. Because that was, honestly, everyone saw the drawing of her, and I was like, she's going to come and destroy Jared Mentorman immediately. And I was like, thank God for those roles and fucking playing Charming. I think that shifted a little bit, but yeah, it's been fucking awesome.
Since that's an ongoing thing, I won't belabor the point too much, Donnie, but what do you feel in those scenes that speaks to you when Titus and Lucretia are on screen together?
I think it's like the only understanding that they both have with everyone, like can only have with each other based off of their blood, their position, their honor, their lore, their everything, is they are the only two that actually understand it. Like Livia to a point, obviously, but
she's not a warrior.
Yes. Yeah. And it's like there's a Baron.
Warrior in a different way, but yeah.
Yeah. And it's like just the chosen of that. It's just like, yeah, it's the only other parallel to him is her, you know? Yeah.
And vice versa. She wasn't kidding when she said, I did not expect to find you in the north.
Red, green, gold. The colors are there. But yeah, no.
Her perspective changed. Again, context.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
How about you?
I love Tipo.
Tipo?
I gotta say. No, for real. Because like I don't know much about D&D. I haven't done any gaming before this, and when you went to Tipo, I was just like
right off the bat.
I remember just like my body was just reacting, and I was like, oh my god, like Angel's like really taking this one on, and like it expanded.
I thought it was a different show.
I mean,
that was like,
no, it was wild.
I don't get to do many batshit crazy characters in this campaign.
I love it.
There aren't, because this is a locked on cast and NPCs. But anyway, yeah.
I mean, it was just wild. I was just like, oh my god, I'm so affected. Like I was really scared. I was really glad you were here.
Really fucking scared too.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a wild ride, and I liked that. I liked the fact that I was so moved by you just putting on a character like that.
I thought someone spiked your drink.
I also wasn't expecting the voice.
Oh my god,
I'm
it was
not
so
good at
wild.
voice acting. Shut up.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
you did
You're
that
amazing.
voice.
You're talented. All of you are.
Shut up. But you did that voice, and I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Who is this? I'm gonna die. Like, it was
True
so
embodiment
good.
of something over
So
there.
good.
Also, just reflecting on the voice acting thing, like Roth, like the Mistress of the
Oh
Bloody
my
Soil,
God,
your
right?
voice is
Fuck yeah.
fantastic. Like it is so harrowing. I can't tell you. Like it gets into my bones.
Yeah, it is
So
really
actually,
scary.
like, yeah, I'm not. You're
actually,
amazing.
no.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. Y'all are lovely and biased, and I appreciate every second of it. I guess I mean it's always harder when you're on this side of it and you just see your flaws. You just see the mistakes. You see the beats that you missed. You see the the shortcomings and all of that.
But you still be a good basketball player and not be Michael Jordan, for example.
Exactly.
I mean,
Yeah, but you are Michael Jordan.
there's levels there. Or LeBron or whoever, right? Exactly.
I had one for you, but I don't want to cheat the audience if you have some more audience questions.
Oh yeah, I mean, I had one more of my question, and then there are like
Go for it.
a few,
Go
but
for
like
it.
it's getting there. I don't know how you guys feeling. Like it's 23.
Energy
Happy to
check
go
yourself.
for like another 15.
Sure. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm curious, like genuinely, like Tatiana is wondering, how has
wants to know.
how has being on camera been for you guys? Like, has it, like, especially as people who've been gaming for a while, like a long time, like, has it changed anything for you? Has it opened up anything for you? Like, just curious.
I kind of just ignore it. Like I don't really care about it.
You do a very good job of that.
I don't care.
You just because I've gamed with her.
Yeah.
Off camera as well. Yeah, and you just as a player.
The same.
And I just
I'll like look into the camera and be like, aha, like
Yeah.
I'll do the stupid shit. I'll do the stupid shit. But
Is
it's,
Jim from The Office? Oh boy, Titus is
She does.
but it's
great. I love it.
But that's just like my kooky nature. So it's like I I don't care.
Just a reaction video. So
It is. It's just always like my face doing stupid stuff.
Speaking of supercuts, okay, if we have to have Domini supercut, we have to have a
Stop.
supercut of Anika's reactions.
It's like compilation videos. I'm dead.
Does it do
No.
anything for you to be in a studio like this? Does it change anything?
I love this table.
Yeah.
This I think was a huge game changer when we all walked in and like saw it, and I was just like, holy shit.
I finally got a surprise on Angel. Angel always has secrets. And I kept this whole entire studio.
For months.
He knew about the background drawings. That was collaboratory, but he never actually saw the physical space until these guys came in. And
And I think that it changed a lot because it was just like, holy shit, this is so real. But yeah, I mean, on camera, like, whatever.
Cool.
Love you all. But I just don't. I don't pay attention to it.
First stream was nerve-wracking, and then the second started, it was the same. I was like, oh, it's just the same, hanging out with buddies, you know? And I love it.
And how about, I'll just expand the question to like being in a space like this. Like, does it change anything for you? Does it open anything for you? Does it just change the way you see gaming?
Yeah, it made me level up my game for sure. 100%. And it's like, it's more, not so much of the actual physical space, but the amount of time and dedication that everyone around the table put into this game makes me want to play that much, be that much better at a character or as myself. So the environment, absolutely. People around it, more importantly. But yeah, the cameras are great. The studio's great. I love everything about it. But yeah,
Cool.
I like to play with you guys more than all this.
Love it.
I mean, the ambiance, the music, the decorations, costumes. From my 15 years of LARPing days back in the World of Darkness, when you had all that together, it really set the tone, and you can really embody the environment better because you can see it as well as just imagine it, and it just created an energy that was really, really nice and important to promote. The in-character actions and role play, and some of the best scenes I've ever acted role play through were in these nice LARPing environments. So, and as far as cameras, I've done a lot of like public speaking for conferences on my earlier lives, and so they filmed it. That part wasn't as much. Obviously, paying attention to the camera a little bit in terms of, you're not picking your nose or stuff like that. Obviously you don't want to do that.
What do you mean?
What are you doing here? I don't know. No, but if anything, the one thing is the photos. The amount of photos now of me that are out there. I mean, it's one thing to have 10, 15, 20. You're very used to it, but I feel like we're all like models now because literally there's so many cuts and takes of everyone out there.
Yeah.
It's only going to get more and more, and you just got to be okay with having bad shots, good shots, any shots of your just be
Red
real,
hair for 2
authentic.
months. Yeah.
Red hair.
The cameras, well, actually, Randy, did you have something that you wanted to add? About the cameras or experience or whatever?
I actually don't pay attention to the cameras until I'm watching the actual whatever it is, and then
Watching it back, yeah.
and then I'll notice like, why are you looking at Nalishli so much? Stop looking at Nalishli. I'm telling myself,
Because she's pretty. Because she's
or
stunning.
stop doing this or stop doing that. So I had to really school myself on how to just accept that it's a camera. It's gonna catch everything. It's fine.
3 hours.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Playing with dice.
Stacking my dice.
Those are rituals.
Yeah.
But as for this table and this room and everything that goes with it, unlike most of you, I think Nalishi was the only other, or Ali was the only other person who didn't. I never had a chance to play on the ground, like when you were sitting at home and just having your preschool session. So this was the first experience and the first.
This is Darkeport for you.
Yeah, this really is Germentum for me, right? So it's just like, I don't really know. I mean, yeah, if we sat down at home and sat down and had a homebrew game with this, it would eventually start feeling like that. But for now, at my existence, this is like, this right here is Germentum. This right here is the rest of the world, And I like that. I like that. It gives me a sense of connection to it. When every time I sit down at this chair, at this table, with these people, that we're all like building a world together,
Yeah, we are.
So that's for me what it's like.
Cool.
We hold the line. Yeah, it's great.
I mean, the first time I ever walked in here, it was I was
I have film of that.
it was stunning to me because thinking about all the time, all the effort, all the labor, all the money, just everything that had to pull together that these people who loved me feel so strongly about supporting me about something that's just started off as a one-off comment. I blame Toby for him ever showing me what an actual play was, and all of that. Our brilliant assistant producer, and walking in here was like, my God, I knew that that it was gonna be beautiful, but to actually be in here and to feel the energy of it, sometimes before stream, depending on what's happening, I'll come in this room by myself and I'll just sit and I'll just breathe, and let my mind, it's almost meditation in a way, especially if I know that session is going to be emotionally difficult for me. A lot of times stuff, obviously is documented now, stuff just creeps up on me. But if I know I'm like, oh, okay, this is going to be a hard one, then I'll do that to just really sink into the space and try to be as present as possible so that I can still, tell a story to the best of my ability.
I think it's also, too, the equivalent, the other room
100%.
that people don't see. And it's like all the work that goes into
Oh my God!
all the shit that goes into that.
We need to do like a behind the scenes.
You should.
Behind the scenes thing where you see like how Justin is like a freaking octopus back there, just manipulating.
Just film
so many
him,
different things.
filming
I mean,
him,
it's like
filming us.
literally.
Yeah.
It's like literally a one man.
Film.
Watching
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, watching Lord of the Rings. Right. Nice callback. Good callback. Yeah.
The other thing that, unfortunately, so when we design this, you don't get everything right. One of the things that, what I'm saying about right is the placement of the phoenixes that no one ever gets to see because of the way the camera angles are.
Oh, yeah.
And they're beautiful, and the way the tail wraps around, and there's a lot of hidden meaning, and I'll just leave it at that, Easter eggs, in a lot of the things that happen in this world. And it was, if we had to redo it again, maybe the phoenix would be closer in or whatnot, because we didn't understand the layout and everything. So just hopefully Justin will get angles where they can actually see the full breadth of
The
Angel's
giant
side.
There's been
Brown
a whole-
statues that no one else can see that you guys got all set up here. Those huge brown statues.
Yeah, there's been a whole thing about like how much to show in the shot, and like do you want to show the microphones and everything, and how immersion breaking would that be, and there's the whole definitely an ongoing conversation.
Beautiful.
Well, I had a question for you.
Okay.
I wanted to know, Tatiana, as you were the only person at this table who had never gamed before at all, because Allie, you hadn't done it extensively, but you'd had some exposure to it before. And growing up, as it were, in this environment is very different from a traditional, sitting around a kitchen table or living room floor, as I'm wont to do. As Donnie's hips can test,
Montessori circle.
Yeah, Montessori circle style, exactly. That's how I roll as a GM.
Back die. Just help me.
How has this experience, and this can be as limited or as broad as you want, how has this experience been for you? What expectations did you have coming in? What have you retooled? What are you still figuring out? Like, however you want to answer that, I'm just fascinated. I mean, you're an incredibly intelligent, insightful human, and it's very rare that I have the privilege of having someone at the table who A, has never gamed before at all, B, is juggling all the things that you do, because you're also doing things behind the scenes. You're not just playing, and C, is as curious and open, as you are to whatever comes. I mean, you especially just, because again, you hadn't gamed before, like you put a huge amount of trust in me to come here, and these are like some real stuff that we get into, and we're going to go further. Mm-hmm. So I've wanted to ask you that for a while, but this seemed like the right time and the right place to do that. I hope you don't feel ambushed.
No, not at all. No. It's been a really curious journey for me on a lot of levels, and I don't know, I trust you, Angel, probably more than most people. So it's easy to follow your invitation. But I also, I do like to trust life and see where it takes me. It's been interesting to do so, and really, I'd say 98% of the time goes really well. So on one level, like, it's been, like, really rewiring my brain because there's so many things to be aware of that I'm just not used to the language. I'm not used to the way this stuff works. I'm not used to, like, even your level and depth of storytelling. Sometimes I'm like, holy shit, where are we going? What is this? Like, the first time I sat down with
Join the club.
the first time I sat down with you guys, I was like, I don't know if you, my mind,
remember
my
that.
eyes.
You were like just sitting back going, whoa, that's a
My
lot.
dear Cornelia.
Yeah.
I needed those sessions not on screen. Like, I could not have been someone who just jumped in here. I would have been, like, conked out. So, like, but my brain has genuinely expanded. Like, I know that and I feel that. And, like, and even that first session, I was like, wow, my listening skills kind of suck. Like, I'm not catching everything. And as we've been playing, I'm like, oh, wow, I'm, like, strengthening all of that. And just, like, I also feel like it is quite a vulnerable experience to be a coming-of-age character in a way. Like, Waisa doesn't have it all figured out at all. And, you know, she's not this, like, seasoned warrior that's, like, can just, like, you know, she's, like, finding her way. And I think it's, like, really apt for me to be finding my way here. And
Parallel.
yeah, it's a good parallel for sure.
Back at you.
It's a good parallel. And I'm also just, like, incredibly grateful because, like, I just know for a fact that you guys are just, like, top class people to play with. Like, I know there's a lot of bullshit that goes on. I know there's a lot of people who take up all the space. There's, like, just, like, stuff. And I feel like everyone here is so welcoming and awesome and talented in their own way and deep. And I'm just like, oh, cool, I got to, like, slide on into, like, a really nice spot here. I don't have to, like, go through the muck. So I don't know, it's been very interesting. Very, I know that it's working me in ways that I can't even totally know. And it's also grounded me. I've been a very avid, fluid, free-flying person, and having something like this to come back to every
Tuesday,
week.
every
Tuesday is, like, changed
here.
my entire structure of my life right now. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
doing
you.
that.
Thanks for trusting me to jump in because I'm, you know,
I've never seen
wobbly
anyone
legs.
pick up the game quicker than you. I swear. You're so great.
Yeah, you're
It's
really flying.
Thanks, guys.
very impressive.
Well, I really appreciate it. You know, there have been times where I'm like, wow, I'm, you know, just, I don't know what I'm doing. But,
You don't feel like that when you finish
Yeah, I
the journal
don't.
entry when we're all like, come on!
Yeah, no, your writing ability is.
Oh, it's amazing.
well, thanks.
All these gods and men, and I'm like, what the what? It comes out of nowhere. Like, what's going on?
It's also been like an amazing creative outlet for me because I used to act more and I used to write more, and this has all been like a great opportunity for me to get my feet wet. So thanks. Yeah.
Donnie, you better get your question in because we're.
Oh, no, I'm good. That was my
You're good.
question.
Oh, okay.
He said no, I already had answered.
So okay, let's just do one question from Melissa.
Oh yeah, Melissa, we love
Yeah.
Melissa. Our winner, our winner of the season
Trivia
long trivia.
queen.
Yes.
Trivia queen, man.
Trivia queen.
Seriously.
So anyone can answer this. What was your favorite scene with your character to play out?
Ooh.
Oh shit.
Oh, that's a hell of a way to end it. I love that.
No.
I love that.
That's like.
Oh, that was easy for me. Do it. That was bringing Servilia back. Like that scene when I used the fate point, had to use a fate point just to bring her back.
Thank you, Nika.
That she couldn't live. Yeah, for reminding me. I was just like, oh wait, that's right. We do have fate, right?
Oh,
Is that
yeah.
all right, everybody? Cool? Yeah? Great. I'm doing it.
Yes.
Second episode. And you already elevated the roleplay to that level, Randy.
It was scary as shit. Like, I was more afraid of losing her than I was of just filling the role, dude. Like, it was crazy. Anyway, that's my favorite right there.
Thank you.
Mine was with Oe Kappa for sure. I mean, yeah, like clearly it was like it left me stumped, and it left me like bemused, and then at the end it was really emotional and intense and sad. Had every flavor and all the range that I love in any scene. My favorite scenes.
Return to the kitchen for me. That was an emotional scene that lasted at least 24 hours. So where we ended, and I was just kind of like didn't have anything to say at the end of my vignette when you were with me. It's just because I was lost in that emotion, because I was feeling confused in character and as Corey at the time about a religion and not knowing, questioning my religion and questioning whether or not the Great Mother left me there or and then Roth is telling me these lies, or is it the truth? And she had enough knowledge to convince me that it was. And do I die? Do I not die because I have a bigger cause in the dream, and therefore I make these choices even though I don't like them? So that was just a very emotional. And then people don't know about toes per se, but maybe that will come up in the future.
Yeah, that'll
but there's a lot of emotional stuff that happened before that. That kitchen is, it's I mean, I'll just say it's equivalent to almost going back to like the furnace for a Holocaust survivor. It's that sort of emotional attachment, and you weren't part of the precursor stuff, which Johnny was part of, but that's where I'm drawing that from, and it's a little emotional, and I'm grateful because it's taking me places that I wouldn't have gone if I didn't have this character and the theme around it to play out.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Give me a minute. I gotta think of one.
You don't have to.
Catching on the ship. That was
everyone's
probably one of my favorite playthroughs by far, especially rewatching it when I go, well, you'll make the right call, and you go, fuck her. And I was like, that's Anika, and then you go back, okay, it's Katrin. It was like the quickest switch I saw. Yeah, I love that. And then Aurelia's Field, probably one of the pre-session videos about going home. That was really fun for me.
Yeah.
We may eventually have to find some way to release that one because that has some, because that's Nalish Lee's origin story.
Yeah.
You know.
No, that was.
Or even cuts of it at least. We can tease some cuts. Yeah.
That was like my first play.
That was the first session.
Game that I
That was
had
the
with you guys, and I was like,
just
all right,
threw-
I'm in.
I just threw. I know. I just took Allie. It wasn't Nalish. It was I just took her. I did not tell her in case don't spoil anything. In case we do release that, I just gave her a character, and you played the heck out of that character.
I love that, by the way, watching you go through your first moments of life. Like, what does a dandelion taste like? I don't know. Let's eat it. Like, it was really cool watching that.
Yeah.
And it felt so real, too. Like, it felt real. Like, this creature would be having these thoughts.
And it's I'll
really
give
cool, dude.
Angel compliments to this too. I mean, it's just he's done a lot of first or very unusual ways to bring concepts like okay, fine, there's golems in the world, D&D stuff, but how to bring it into a real way of doing it. In this case, a construct.
How would that actually happen in this magical world? It's because you don't just snap your fingers. Like, what's the process? Everything in life has a process. Everything.
The leveling up during a sex scene, a love scene. I mean,
Hey, steel sharpens steel.
just new stuff,
You couldn't cut out my heart. That was great. Probably one of my favorite scenes,
Corey.
too. That was great.
Yeah.
That was really good. You have one?
I do. Everyone has all these like deep ones, and I'm just like thinking about that fucking chair.
That's what I'm thinking about. That was a fun one.
I just
Yes.
With Lady
amount of
Julia,
goofiness that was just
Dignitas.
like in that, and I was just like, it has to happen. This is hilarious,
that's
and
so
just like the reroute to it, and I was like, sorry, Angel, but it was just so funny.
That
Like,
was a blast.
I love the goofy, but I don't know. But I agree with you though, because I love how real. This is kind of shifting, but I love how real everything kind of has to be, because with Katrin, she has to pull mana. She has to do all that stuff. And there's a way to do it, and it's so specific. And like every scene that, we have to kind of explain what we're doing.
It's important.
And I love that. So that's a lot of my favorite stuff, is just like getting into that nitty-gritty detail.
Because if we didn't do that from the outside world, the character becomes so much less and so much less fleshed out.
Yeah.
If all of it is, well, I'm casting flame bolt or whatever.
Right.
I mean, like it's not. That's not what that experience is for her. This is central to her. She was born in the river. She was born in the eternal river. So it's like literally she doesn't know any other way of being.
I feel like it'd be super lame if it was just like firebolt, and it's just like, come on, man, do better. But yeah.
Me? I really no one's experienced this except me and Angel, but like my first session with you was such an eye opener for me, and was also epic because I mean, back where Wace is from and in her world, and
Which we will get to eventually. one way or the other. One way or the other. Yep.
where is she from? What goes on there? But,
We'll get there.
Twin brother.
but yeah, it was just there was just it was such a surprising high quality experience, and I just felt like
And you went for it. You just went right with me.
yeah, well, I trust you.
Angel's prologue sessions are the best. I'm telling you. This is why we love them. This is why I've been gaming for them for so long. I can't do other DMs. I mean, I've tried. They're okay, but
I mean, it's just taking the threads, and you have to have the individual threads be individual threads, and then you can see how they weave together. It's the very short version of that.
Yeah, it's just impacted everything for this character and how I've been playing since. So. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Fate of the Eight too. Even that being a pre-session.
that was a good one.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
that was a lot of fun. That was the first emotional one that we played through. The first
Yeah,
four.
we were crying.
Yeah, you were incredible. You were incredible with that.
I said 4 words. That was all I said, and it was one of my favorite sessions. Cowboy Rulebook. Never pass up a good opportunity to shut up. And
Hard for dining.
Is that
very hard for me.
Is that still your favorite scene?
that was one of my favorite scenes for sure. But no, Lady Vale scenes have always been great. Perrin was probably one of my favorites too.
Perrin. That was all really good.
because I'm too weak. Was probably one of my favorite lines ever.
That was off. Yeah, that was one of the off
Cornelia,
streams.
I love
All
you.
of us crying around this goddamn table.
Yeah, that was the first time
That's a
playing
lot.
with you. Yeah.
It was good.
After she saved you, yes.
Yeah, and she goes, worst day of my life.
It's horrible.
Brought him back.
Always Oh, yeah.
My favorite scene has yet to happen.
What?
Cheat us out of that.
We will see if it unfolds. One of the sweet, and I know we're kind of over budget here now, but one of the sweet things about being a game master and a storyteller is when you've been anticipating this moment, sometimes for real life years, and you've been building up and you've been assiduously forming all of the pieces around it and all of the variables. And then every once in a blue moon, something gets to slot in and it's magic. And I get to see what this incredible, cast of super talented people does with that idea. And there's a moment I'm looking forward to it, and of course, characters may die in this next session, so that changes things. But even still, just getting to, because it's to tie this to end, I think to end it with theme, because it's one of those moments that I think, first off, I've never seen in gaming before. I've been gaming for 39 years, jamming for 39 years. So I got stuck being the game master at the beginning of my little friend group. Then that was the end of that. Never seen this scene before. Never seen a scene the one that I'm looking forward to. One of many that I'm looking forward to. But it is the crystallization of sacrifice and the indomitability of the human spirit. And that is what I'm trying to explore the most in this. Even as hopefully y'all are getting many other things, love and devotion and introspection and growth and, all of that, a renewal of faith, like all of that. So I'm really looking forward. I do kind of love our scenes as Livia and Titus though.
They're so fun.
There's that sibling
That
back
twin
and forth.
speak, and I'm so happy to play it through with you because it is just 100%.
The back and forth and beating you with the scroll and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
I was just there's a love and all of that.
It's like a brotherhood of us as friends.
I love
that as
I love that too.
That's
yeah,
been a lot of
for
fun.
sure.
Oh, beautiful.
I feel like we could just chatter on for hours about this,
Oh my
but
We very much could,
but we have real life.
Babies to go to.
Yeah.
We have things. Real life intrudes and presses even on Middle Pflugerville. So
there are a few questions that we didn't get to, and
Okay.
I could say that we could maybe,
Was there
respond to
questions
them?
from the Discord or?
the Discord.
Yeah, for
So we can all answer them on there, whoever wants to.
for sure, yeah. And I think it's safe to say I think this has been a good experience. Really good experience.
yeah.
Really good
Blast.
experience.
Yeah,
Loved it.
And maybe this is something that we do again.
Yeah.
We have like at the end of the next arc
Like
or
every fortnight or whatever.
something like that. Okay. Tatiana, do you want to since I don't have to game master tonight, do you want to end us?
Sure. Thank you all who are here tuning in and just being willing to get to know us all as not just characters but as people and being part of our journey together. It's been really sweet, really lovely being with all of you tonight. I feel like we all got to jam and get to know each other and
I learned all kinds of things.
Yeah, right.
Now I know who to harass for the next prop. For the next prop instead of my clumsy fingers trying to make things.
Son of a
Aw. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a really happy December. I know it
Absolutely.
gets wild out there. Stay grounded, hydrated.
I'll be trying to put some things out for storytelling side.
Yeah.
We really appreciate everyone who's watching and supporting us.
Yeah,
Like I said,
you take this journey with
do this
us.
for a journey, and anyone who's enjoying it and with us is it's awesome.
Spread the word, spread the love.
Like and subscribe.
Send it to your friends.
Thank you. Thank you, Tatiana, for hosting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Todd.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Now for the last.